Welcome to another edition of Our City. A few things going around the city of Elizabeth this week. On Thursday, March 19th at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to join students for a cleanup at the Elizabeth waterfront who are visiting from Orlando, Florida. And later that evening, around 7 o'clock, the production of We Tell a Story at the Jefferson Arts Academy. This takes place on March 20th and March 21st. And on Friday, March 20th, I will attend a breakfast hosted by the YWCA at the Shakamaxon Country Club in Scotch Plains. This event celebrates the YWCA Union County Centennial Anniversary and in launch of their new Building for the Future campaign. The idea of this program is to rebuild a new and modern facility in place of the YWCA on East Jersey Street that was destroyed and devastated by a fire last year. On Saturday, March 21st at 9 o'clock, I'm going to attend the National Council of Negro Women's 15th Annual Harambee Breakfast, and that's held at the Renaissance Hotel here in the city of Elizabeth. Later that morning at 11 o'clock, I'm going to attend Maker's Day at the Elizabeth Public Library, which is located on 11 South Broad Street. This event is free for all ages. It's a lot of fun. It celebrates hands-on learning by making, creating, building, playing. There's also going to be an event for Maker's Day at the Eport branch, the Almora branch, and the Peterstown branch. And if you want more information or have any of your young children participate in Maker's Day, call 908-354-6060. That evening, I'm going to attend the 98th anniversary of the Portuguese Instructive Club after 7 o'clock that night. It's going to be held at the 417 U.S. Highway 1 and Grove Street at the Portuguese Instructive Social Club. So if you need more events concerning these events or any other events, please call our Public Information Office at 908-820-4124. And just a note, there's some misinformation that goes out on Facebook and Twitter and social media regarding the coronavirus. If you need any information regarding the City of Elizabeth or the Elizabeth Public Schools, please tune in to the Elizabeth website, elizabethnj.org, or the Elizabeth Board of Education website for the up-to-date information on any communication that is necessary for the City of Elizabeth. A letter will go out to all of the City Hall employees as well as the students that the voices of the Superintendent of Schools, Olga Ugemeyer, and myself will be the two voices that will inform the community of what's going on and any up-to-date information that needs to be passed on to our residents. As of this time, there are no cases or suspected cases in the City of Elizabeth. That may change, and if it does, we will inform the residents as soon as possible. For tonight's show, I'm pleased to be joined by the Council President, who's also the Councilman of the 3rd Ward, and in the year 2020 is serving as the City Council President here in the City of Elizabeth. Councilman Kiniery, welcome to the show.
Mayor.
Good to see you.
Welcome. Thank you.
So, Councilman, first of all, congratulations on becoming Council President. And how many years you're on the Council, and how did you get there?
Just starting my 6th year as a councilman, my first time as Council President. I got sworn in January 1st, 2015, so I'm enjoying it, my second term.
Yeah, it's an interesting term, right? Second term is kind of fun. Usually the Council Presidents and the leadership are usually elected in their second term after they spend a term learning the ropes, right?
Yeah. You got to get a little green behind the ears, so you have to baptism by fire.
Sometimes that's the truth. So tell us about yourself. I mean, you had a career in the police department before you chose to run for city council.
I came on the police department September 1st of 83. I did a very safe 31 years plus and decided to run for councilman because there was an opening in the 3rd Ward and just wanted to give back to the city that's always taking care of me.
Now, Councilman Joe Keenan chose not to run, correct?
Correct.
And so that opened up a spot, and you were successful. Tell me, you also have some family members that are on the police department you must be extremely proud of.
Yes, my son is going to be starting his 3rd year. He works 5 at night to 4 in the morning. I always have my phone on. Hopefully I never get a call concerning my son, safety. is paramount. But he works down in the Elizabethport area, and he does a good job.
So, Kevin, Councilman, tell me, do you and your son talk about how policing has changed since you came on in 1983 and he comes on in 2017?
The biggest thing, I think, is the body cameras. And I believe, I never had to use them. I left before they were here. But it's the safety of the police officer. And I believe the complaints against police officers with the body cameras have lessened since we initiated the body cameras.
So the body cameras work both for the protection of the police officer as well as the protection of the community.
Absolutely.
And in your run for the city council, you wanted to give back to the community. You've been a Third Ward resident since you were young, correct?
312 Chilton Street.
That's right. Yeah, 312 Chilton. That's where you grew up.
Yes.
And then even during your married life, you're living in the Third Ward.
Yeah, I lived on Edgar Place.
Yeah.
And now I'm on Livingston Road.
Livingston Road. So the idea of running for city council and being the council president are two different roles. So tell me a little bit about the difference between councilman and council president now that you're in charge of the whole council.
Well, the good thing about being council president, you get to interact with all 6 wards and not just my home base 3rd Ward. So you get to interact with all of the residents of the city. So it's a different experience, and it's humbling as well to see the other people that come up, public speaking, and you're able to help everybody, not just your home base ward.
And the residents, you're active, you're in the community, you go to neighborhood watch meetings. How do you feel the residents are responding to you, not only as a councilman, but as a councilman and council president?
Like I alluded to earlier, I'm not just getting phone calls or emails from the 3rd Ward residents, it's opened up to the whole city. So I'm able to help more people.
And the 3rd Ward changes? What have you seen in the 3rd Ward, Councilman?
Mostly the corridor on Westfield Avenue. There were some run-down, dilapidated structures that are now replaced with beautiful apartments. Even the old Evelyn's, now I'm dating myself on that, next to White Castle is a luxury apartment. And they're all filled, and that's the best part. So now people that commute from the western part of Union County, whether they're coming to work at the courthouse or at the prosecutor's office, or somebody that's even just going to be a juror, they can see that Elizabeth is a very viable place to be.
Councilman, you mentioned Evelyn, so I have to digress here from our notes, but you remember Evelyn's. It was a seafood restaurant,
Yes.
right?
Seafood
What was
and
it
steak.
before Evelyn's? Do you remember that?
Nah,
No.
that's more your time.
Because the famous chef, Tom Colicchio, who grew up in Elizabeth, started in that place.
Started there.
He was a busboy there, and that's how that was one of his first jobs, and he often talks about that. So the growth of the 3rd Ward on that side, and what you've done in working with the planning board is to keep the apartment houses on the one side and the 1 and 2 family neighborhood on the other side. Tell us about your efforts in working with the planning and zoning committees to make sure that stays in effect.
Well, basically the main corridors coming from Roselle Park or coming from Union, there's been significant growth as far as apartments, but the interior of the 3rd Ward, I've been working with the zoning board and to where it remains one, and there's a scattered few 2-family homes, but we want to keep the integrity of the 1-family homes in the 3rd Ward.
Yeah, and I think that's important, and you've done a good job in doing that as well. So before we go to the break, how do you think your previous role as a police officer, I say police officer, but you retired as a sergeant, correct?
Yes.
So how do you think your role in leadership as a police sergeant or as a police officer have helped you prepare for your term as a council member and council president?
I believe the biggest impact is I knew the directors of all the different departments within City Hall or City Yard. So it was an easy transition for me. It wasn't like I had to reintroduce myself. It was just went from one role as a police sergeant right into a councilman. So that transition was very easy because I already knew the key players when I need a tree taken care of or a sewer cleaned or what have you. It's just pick up the phone, and I already had that connection.
One of the roles of councilman is the liaison with City Hall to get things done.
Yes,
And you're good at it, so keep working.
absolutely.
We're going to take a few short minutes here and run some commercials. Please stay with us after these messages. I'll be back with more. The councilman of the 3rd Ward and serving as council president, Councilman Kevin Kiniery.
It's all about power.
And money.
Almost $700 billion per year.
And it only happens once every 10 years.
It directly impacts our representation in government
and the money that goes to
our communities,
our schools,
our housing,
our neighborhood programs,
our lives.
So what is it?
The census.
A population count of America.
But it's much more than that.
It's the basis of distributing power and money
From the government to our communities.
The unfortunate part is that a lot of us aren't counted.
And it's on us to change that.
When we aren't counted, our communities don't get their fair share.
For each person not counted, their community loses out on over $20,000 over 10 years.
For a household or a family of 5, that community loses out on over $100,000.
But we can change it.
When the census comes in the mail,
fill it out. Don't throw it out. Or do it online.
And make sure to count everyone in the household.
Little ones too.
Little ones too.
The census begins in 2020. Most households will get a postcard in the mail next March telling them it's census time.
And we're required to fill it out.
The counts will be used to determine how many congresspersons each state gets.
And to draw new congressional maps in 2021.
It's also used to draw maps for basically every level of government.
From the state legislature to school boards.
So this is a huge opportunity for us
to make a direct impact on our communities.
It's critical that we are all counted.
So go ahead, take the pledge.
Pledge to be counted.
Pledge to be counted.
Pledge to be counted.
Because there's too much at stake not to.
I count.
I count.
I count.
I count.
I count.
We count.
Contamos.
We count.
We count.
نحن محسوبين.
Tayo'y kabilang.
We count.
I count!
We're an American original. Dependable, historic, nuanced. With all the comforts of home, even when you're just visiting. So we're celebrating for all that we've left untouched and all that we've changed. A place where the past meets the future. So consider this your invitation.
We've been celebrating here in Elizabeth for 350 years, and we're just getting started.
What can we do to make an impact in our community? We can share our knowledge, be leaders, or simply participate in the 2020 census. The census wants our community to be counted accurately. That count informs decisions that affect funding for hundreds of programs, like Medicare, daycare, and arts education. When a community comes together, anything is possible.
Shape your future. Start here. Learn more at 2020census.gov.
The census, as prescribed by the Constitution, is extremely important for not only the constitutional districts, but also for roads, bridges, hospitals, community development block grants. Where do we stand with the federal government on future dollars that are going to be allocated to the states and the cities? So the City of Elizabeth is working diligently in order to provide a full count in our community. We've been working diligently with the Census Committee. We have our maps and everything approved. But most importantly, we have to put a team of people together that's going to go door to door, neighborhood to neighborhood, talk about the importance of the census.
The census counts everyone in this country, and that really means everyone. A hospital patient, yes, that person counts. Newborn Benjamin, yeah, little Ben now counts. Two families that live in the same house, sure thing, they all count. Or David, who's living in his cousin Daniel's garage, he also counts. The census counts everyone to make things better for all of us.
Just minutes from New York City, we are the gateway to the state of New Jersey. Experience Elizabeth. It all starts here.
Welcome back to our city, where I'm pleased to be joined by the 3rd Ward Councilman and serving as Council President for 2020, Councilman Kevin Kiniery. Councilman, one of the things we were talking about during the break were the block watch meetings, and this was something that was set up a long time ago, probably when Joe Keenan actually came on council, because they weren't going on before then. And all of the council members do it, the ward members anyway. They have these block watch meetings. And so why do you feel it's important to host block watch meetings in your neighborhoods, and where are they too?
Oh, first of all, the third ward is so large. I have 3 block watch meetings. One is at 154 Style Street at the Greek Orthodox Church. That's the first Thursday of every month at 7 o'clock. And then the second Thursday of the month, I have it at School 21. And the third Wednesday of the month, I have it at the library on West Grand Street. So it's all-encompassing. The third ward borders Roselle Park, and Union. So it's spread out. So I try to have as many meetings as possible to accommodate the residents of the third ward.
And those block watch meetings are important, and you're right at them all, right? So unless there's an illness, you're there.
Yes.
And the police department comes and talks about what's going on in the neighborhood regarding any crime that may have happened.
It's usually a representative from community policing that comes. They give the status of what has happened in each area of the third ward. So people can come out and they can vent to the police department and to myself of what needs to be done. So there are eyes and ears. So they help the police department out. And a lot of times it could be something as simple as I left my car unlocked and someone ransacked my car. And what myself and usually Lieutenant Abner Rodriguez, we impressed upon the people to make that report, even though they maybe sold dollars worth of change or your phone charger in your car. The lack of reporting does not help the police department, because you make the report and now they have directed patrols that can go out, and we know what area and what times the police department should be there.
So the block watch meetings serve as a great purpose, because as you hear the complaints, you can help work with the police department and direct the resources to the right neighborhood.
Right. And it's not just the police department. It could be public service.
Yeah, good point.
If arc light, a street light is out and it's dark, we have that capability to either direct ourselves to public service or through City Hall with one of the directors to have that light repaired.
And these meetings are held during the summer too, or do you take a break for the summer?
I take a break January and February just for inclement weather, and a lot of people are on vacation during July and August. So 8 months out of the year, I have 3 meetings each month.
And if residents are watching the show, can they get these dates online or anywhere, or the city clerk's office? Who do they call?
It's on the city website, as well as the booklet that was just sent out to all the residents.
It's in that booklet, and how to contact you as well.
Yes, and my number's there, and I believe my email is on there as well.
So Councilman, as the city council president, not only do you have to worry about your ward, what are some of your goals as the council president to do this year?
Like I said earlier, I get to interact with the whole city. But what I would like to do in June for Pride Month is to have the first flag raising for Pride Month at City Hall.
We're going to do that. We pick a day?
We didn't pick a day yet, but it will be in June.
June. So any memories of serving as a councilman in the Third Ward right now?
The biggest one, I have to tell you, is the Little League Parade and our troopers that connected our whole city and state nationally when they went to Williamsport, as well as our Christmas tree lighting in the Third Ward.
So on that note, it's been set up. I haven't had a chance to tell you, but on March 28th, the parade is, that's on your schedule already. But that day at 11 o'clock, we're going to show a documentary that the U.S. Conference of Mayors that I was helpful in getting with Major League Baseball documents the run of the Little League kids. It's a 22-minute documentary that they hope to share with ESPN at some point. Should be fun.
It should be. Yeah. And the Hanratty Field gets better looking every day with the help of Director Stan Neron, with the Recreation Department, the drainage, the seating, and a little configuration change. It's going to keep Elizabeth on a map for a long time with Little League.
Yeah, it was exciting. I agree with you. As far as memories go, that's got to be one of the big ones. Council meetings and conferences are held on Tuesdays. What time are those meetings held, and when is it public speaking? How do you deal with that?
The first and third Tuesday, we have pre-council meeting, which sets the agenda for the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month. We have public speaking at all four, and they all start at 7:30.
And the public speaking is a 5-minute limit or something?
5-minute limit per person for a total of 30 minutes.
30 minutes, yeah. And the city council meetings usually run pretty smoothly.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're the president. How can residents get a hold of you? I know you said it was in the booklet, but why don't you say it for the people that may be watching this show? How do not only the city council members, but how do the residents of the 3rd Ward get a hold of you?
They can reach me by phone, which is 908-510-1195, or email me at kjkiniery@AOL. If I don't have somebody's number, and if I didn't save it as a contact, please leave me a voicemail and I'll get back to you.
So, Councilman, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us on the show this evening, and also wish you well as the council president this year, and look forward to working with you for the rest of the year.
All right, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For Councilman Kevin Kiniery of the 3rd Ward and the council president, I'm Chris Bolwage. We'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.